For the second part of this recording, I want to talk about corporate culture. And I just want to check that we're comfortable using some figures in our work. So when we talk about corporate culture, we're talking about part of the internal environment, something that management has control over. Start with an important definition. Corporate culture is used to describe the shared values and beliefs of the people in the organisation. It is their idea of what is important and how things work here. For example, profit might be really highly valued in some organisation. Other organisations, it might be ethics, it might be customer service. So that's really the basis of where we're starting from here. There are a few ways we might observe corporate culture in an organisation. The first is the way the employees dress and the language that they use. The second, the way the bosses treat employees. Is it a respectful relationship? Is it one where it's very much about giving orders? To what extent do bosses build working relationships with the people they work with? The way employees treat each other and customers, and the management style. We talk about different management styles that can go from being quite autocratic, where management just gives orders that have to be followed, through to quite democratic, where people are encouraged to be part of the decision-making process. So there can be different elements that might be moulded to be emphasised through corporate culture. Customer service, innovation. Right? Is this an organisation that is prepared to try new things, improve the way they're doing? Ethical behaviour, occupational health and safety. We've got cost minimisation, profit can be another one there. Now, this is a really important slide. So we talk about how a business might look to change their corporate culture. So some things that can happen. One, management can provide an example of culture in action. So if you want to have a firm that's really focused on customer service, then nothing better than to have management spend some time serving customers and doing it with a really, really high level of care and quality. Management recognising and rewarding appropriate action. So when they see someone, let's go to the customer service example, they see someone going above and beyond, providing outstanding customer service, that they're going to acknowledge that and maybe provide a little reward for it. It might just be something like a movie ticket or a voucher somewhere, something like that. Management communicating aspects of the desired culture. This means, how well is management telling the employees exactly what they want to see done? For example, are they letting them know how important customer services is to the organisation right from the start, right from when someone is being hired? Management have a chance to emphasise what things are important to them. Recruiting in line with the desired culture. So again, let's use customer service. So making sure that if you're recruiting, you're looking for someone who has got customer services experience and puts a really high regard on high quality customer service. And you might just go beyond interviewing. You might ask them to work through some customer service situations and actually see them in work. And training in line with the desired culture. Providing some training session on customer service skills, how people can improve that. And you could do that with any of the elements of culture, including ethics. Now, I wanted to go to something else here. Now, we've seen this sort of material before, but I just want to make sure that we're comfortable in responding to it. So this is a financial statement, just an excerpt. So it doesn't have to make sense, it doesn't have to add up, but it just gives you some information about what's happening. So this company, whatever it is, so we look and just check, because sometimes the data order changes, right? Sometimes you'll see it with the most recent first, going backwards. This goes 2012, 2013, 2014, so it's going in order across the page. So let's think about some things that are happening here. Sales have increased quite a lot in the first year, $200,000, but are pretty flat in the second year. So it's great that sales have increased so much, but maybe a little bit of a concern that that's only slightly more than a 1% increase in sales between those last 2 years. Employment costs, this was great. It came down a little bit this year, but it's gone up, back up again. There's probably nothing that you'd say that's too remarkable about those figures. Maybe you'd say looks like it was perhaps a little bit high in 2012 for some reason. Training and development costs. If this was an organisation where you wanted to change culture, you're really not spending a lot of money on training and development. Okay, so if you think about this 1.5 million, you're spending less than 1% of your sales on training. The profit, the fact that profit's gone down in the last year is probably not a good sign unless there's something specific around that. Great that it went up in the first year, went up by 10%, so that's a nice increase in profit, flattened off. And this, I think, is perhaps concerning too. The number of clients in the business has fallen from 400 to 380. So that's how I expect us to be able to work through that information, look at it and find some meaning in it. That's all I want to go through for the exam. Perhaps the other resource I'll just direct you to also here is the practice exam question. Just be careful, it won't be exactly like this. In the exam, you're going to have to do some short answer questions first. You will have to do a SWOT analysis of a business. That's pretty standard. That meets the analysing part of the criteria pretty well, so that's common. You guys are familiar with that. And then we have to go to the stage of choosing between some recommendations. So you've got a SWOT analysis, picking out some information, and then you'll get 3 recommendations. You have to explain which you choose and why. And the key thing there is going to be setting up some criteria to make a decision. So that's the key elements of the revision. Don't be lulled in a sense of security because there's, I've put together about 15 minutes of video for you guys and that's covered most of it. You've got to go into more depth. Remember, key things to get up into the A standard. Have some good examples. Have some content that goes from beyond just the core coursework that we do in class.